up, everybody? Hope you're having a good day. This video is going to be about 15 minutes long, so I'm sorry it's so long, but there's a lot of information I want to get out. And this is again about the death of the old world order and the beginnings of the new world order, as I have coined it. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Bear with me, guys. I'm getting new at this. It's sharing screen shares and stuff like that. So hopefully be a little forgiving. And give me comments and likes and shares and everything. Tell me what you think. I do appreciate the comments, though, very much so. So we'll go ahead and get started here first. All right. So let me back it up here. Too many video pictures ahead. All right. The Bogdanov twins, Igor and Gretchen, were quite the eccentric pair. Their passing at the start of 2022 set a somber tone for the year that saw the departure of many massive historical and cultural figures. Queen Elizabeth, I'm sorry guys, I'm getting in. Queen Elizabeth, the longest running British monarch, who died in September at the age of 96. Mikhail Gorbachev, the last leader of the Soviet Union who was instrumental in ending the Cold War. Next, we have Shinzo Abe, the former Prime Minister of Japan, who was assassinated in July, gunned down. We have Madeleine Albright, who was the first U.S. Secretary of State. She was very instrumental in about the Cold War. And here we have the last Pope Benedict, resigned, first Pope to resign in 600 years, and he died in New Year's Eve of 2022. There's some other notable deaths also. There was Pele, the soccer star, Sidney Poitier, the first black man to win the Academy Award for Best Actor, singer Olivia Newton-John, and of course, crowd favorite Robbie Coltrane, who was best known as Hagrid from Harry Potter films. Also, Jean-Luc Godard, a French cinema and pioneer, not him, excuse me. This is James Lovelock, the scientist who proposed the Gaia hypothesis, viewing Earth as a self-regulating system. The end of the old world order was actually to start when the Ukraine was being invaded by Russia. That began in 2022, and this was their passing coincided with the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February, which many saw as the violent end of the peace these leaders helped create. Mikhail Gorbachev, the man who ended the Cold War, died just as a new hot war was destabilizing Europe. Queen Elizabeth, her death marked the literal end of the longest-running symbol of old British Empire in 20th century stability. Madeleine Albright, the key architect of post-war Cold War diplomacy, she died just as the diplomatic norms she championed for was being dismantled. The Bogdanov twins became the internet legends because of their Bogdanov memes about the Dogecoins and stuff related to cryptocurrencies markets. Their deaths at the start of the year strangely foreshadowed the chaotic year of the digital world. The crypto crash in 2022 saw a massive collapse of FTX and the crypto winter. The twins who leaned their status as crypto icons passed away just as that speculative era began to implode. The COVID final wave was beginning to ease off at the beginnings of 2022 and on into it. And the Bogdanovs were notable because they both died of COVID-19 within days of each other after refusing the vaccine. They weren't alone in being high-profile figures lost to the tail end of the pandemic's major grip. Excuse me, I'm going to back up here again. This guy right here is Thich Nhat Hanh. He died of natural causes at 96. He was a monk, a very strong monk and everything, about preaching peace and everything. He died in, like I say, in 2022. And it marked the very start of a year marked with a period of global reflection on the mortality and mindfulness after the 2 years of the pandemic. Sorry, guys, got a little mixed up. Go back to Shinzo Abe. His assassination was one of the most shocking events of the year, leading to a massive crackdown and investigation into the Unification Church in Japan, which shifted the country's entire political landscape. It's been in turmoil almost since then. And of course, Masha Amini, her death in police custody wasn't a celebrity status event, but it triggered women, life, freedom protest in Iran, the most significant challenge the Iranian government in decades. We'll show you all a chart here, guys, I think next, yes. This kind of breaks it down to you, what you can see right here, what I've just been talking about. Mikhail Gorbachev, Zaim, the president of China, is one of the major deaths. The monarch stability of Queen Elizabeth, the transition to King Charles after her death, the meme culture and digital culture, the Stephen Witzel and the crypto crash and the FTX crash, social revolution, and cinema pioneers Jean-Luc Godard and Sidney Poitier, the decline of the classic Hollywood era. Even the twins fit into this end of an era theme. They were products of the mass media television, a time when a few eccentric figures could capture the imagination of an entire nation through a single TV channel. They died just as the world fully transitioned into what they are now calling the fragmented digital age, where truth is harder to find and influence is scattered across millions of social media accounts. While the death of Jacob Rothschild, who passed away on February 26 of 24 rather than in 22, his death is frequently discussed alongside the figures from 2022 because he represented the same end of an era for the 20th century establishment. In context, the world order you're exploring, his passing is tied to several key themes. Just as Queen Elizabeth was the face of old British monarchy, Jacob Rothschild was the most prominent face of the banking dynasty that influenced European history for over 300 years, maybe 400. His death marked the loss of one of the last major figures who personally managed the transition from the 19th century family-led finance to the modern corporate global system. Like the leaders who died in 2022, he was a bridge to a time where individual titans held immense personal influence over cultures and financial institutions. Cigarette break. Sorry, guys. Jacob Rothschild's influence extended far beyond banking into the old world of culture and civic institutions. He chaired the National Gallery and the Heritage Lottery Fund in the UK, and his family founded a major democratic symbol for Israel, including the Knesset and Supreme Court buildings. His death, following the figures like Gorbachev and the Queen, reinforces the feeling that architects of the 20th century democratic and cultural pillars are leaving the stage. Interesting, much like the Bogart twins, Jacob Rothschild's name was often tied to digital folklore and internet subcultures. While the Bogarts became symbols of the crypto market's volatility, the Rothschild name has historically been the center of a new world order theories. His passing occurring in the same general window as the 2022 figures fueled the narrative that the old guard, who supposedly managed the world's financial and political secrets, was being replaced by a more chaotic, decentralized digital age. His death essentially bookended the period of transition that began early in 2022. It signaled that the old networks of power, built on heritage, family ties, and long-standing institutions, are giving way to a new, more volatile power structures in the mid-2020s. The passing of Jacob Rothschild in early 2024 acts as the final exclamation point on an era that began to collapse in 2022. To understand how this ties to a new world order, we have to look at the transition from a world of institutional control to a world of fragmented chaos. The death of the gentleman's agreement, which is the old world order. The old world order was defined by institutions and lineage, whether it was the Queen, which is represented the state, Gorbachev, which represented diplomacy, or the Rothschilds, which was the finance. Power was held by people who believed in a rules-based system. The Rothschild represented high finance, a world where elite families and central banks maintained and manipulated global stability through personal networks and long-term philanthropy. His death signaled the end of the centralized gatekeeper. The new order doesn't care about lineage. It cares about algorithms and speed. We have moved from a multilateral world, everyone following the same rules, UN or NATO rules, to a transactional world. In 2026, the new world order isn't one single government. Instead, it is a series of digital blocks. Countries like India, China, and the US are building sovereign digital infrastructures that don't talk to each other. The power has shifted from the Atlantic Alliance, which included London, New York, Paris, to a fractured map where the BRICS nation and the global South dictate trade, often ignoring sanctions and financial norms. The Bogdanovs were the canary in the coal mines. They became the icons of the meme economy, a world where value is created by internet style rather than institutional backing. Rothschild was the last of the old money guard that the meme economy was trying to bypass, and the Queen again represented the old blood, the old lineage, ranking by birth. When they left the stage, they left a vacuum. The vacuum is now being filled by sovereign AI agents, autonomous drone warfare, and decentralized finance. The new world order isn't a secret room of elites anymore. It's an unregulated algorithm like the Wild West. In a world where power is so fragmented that no single family, monarch, or diplomat can stop the dump or call for peace like they used to. It's like a 3D chessboard. Military still unipolar is dominated by the U.S. and its tech. The economic part of the chessboard is multipolar. China, India, and the EU competing fiercely. And the social element of the 3D chessboard is diffused power held by AI developers and tech moguls and viral movements. To see the death of the old guard and to the rise of figures like Larry Fink and firms like BlackRock, you have to look at the shift from transitional power, kings and queens and politicians, to informational power, asset managers and algorithms. If 2022 was the funeral of the 20th century, 2026 is a coronation of the corporate sovereignty. Here is how this transition from the Rothschild-Windsor area to the Flint BlackRock era competes the New World Order narrative. From bloodline to black box, which is called Aladdin, by the way. Guys, I'll give you that an acronym in a minute. In the old world, the Rothschilds and monarchs relied on family lineage and sacred handshakes to maintain influence. The New World Order, Larry Fink's power doesn't come from his last name. It comes from Aladdin. Remember, black box Aladdin. Asset, liability, debt, derivative, investment, network. As of early 2026, BlackRock itself manages over 14 trillion in assets, but Aladdin itself, separate from BlackRock, monitors over $21 trillion in assets. Combined, that's the entire U.S. deficit. That is more than the GDP of almost every nation on earth. We have moved from a world managed by the people who die to a world managed by software, which evolves. AI evolves. The death of Gorbachev and Abe, the guy from Japan, in 2022 showed that political leaders are fragile and their legacies can be erased. We see this with Donald Trump currently right now, erasing legacies. Larry Fink's annual letter to the CEOs has become more influential than the State of Union addresses. By publishing Stakeholder Capitalism, BlackRock and Vanguard effectively set global policy on climate, social issues, and corporate behavior without a single person ever voting for them. Let me switch over here, guys, just a moment. In this new world order, corporations aren't just businesses. They are governance structures. They decide which industries live, like AI, green tech, and which ones die, like coal and traditional retail, by shifting trillions of dollars at a single keystroke. The Bogart floors were a parody of the elite puppet masters, but the reality of 2026 of the New World Order is much more bureaucratic and beige. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street are the top shareholders in nearly 90% of S&P 500 companies. 90% of the S&P 500 companies. This creates a circular economy of power. BlackRock owns the banks fund the tech runs the data, and the data tells BlackRock where to invest next. This is the new world order. A self-correcting, data-driven loop that is immune to the death of any single individual. In conclusion, the hinge is closed. The deaths of 2022 were the clearing of the stage. The new world order is one where national borders matter less than capital flows. In the old world order, a Rothschild might fund a national war between two nations. In the new world order, Larry Fink, BlackRock, Vanguard simply rebalance the portfolio, effectively decide the fate of nations by adjusting their credit ratings or pulling investment from their infrastructure. There, guys, you have the essence and the breakdown of how this new world order has rolled out and what it's doing, and why I keep mentioning that this is the new world order. So whether we want to call it the new world order, the new world order, the age of Aquarius, or whatever name you want to put on it, the fact is that's happened. And again, a lot of people ask for change in the world. Well, it happened. It happened right away, faster than you can imagine. Remember, Donald Trump wanted to drain the swamp. In order to drain the swamp, you have to make sure you cut off the water that comes into the swamp so it will dry out and purge itself, and soon it will go away. So effectively, Donald Trump and his associates have cut off the water supply to the swamp. And now we're seeing it dry up. We're seeing the dead and lifeless carcasses of the slime creatures that lived in it being exposed. I hope you'll have a groovy day. Reach out and do something nice to somebody, guys, because today is always the best day to be nice to people. Y'all have a groovy day. Later, taters.
Attention passengers, we've now reached our destination. We hope you enjoyed the flight and have a nice day.